All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are going all in on a modern classic, Disney's Frozen.
That's right.
You might think you know this movie backwards and forwards, but the journey from script to screen, oh man, it's full of surprises.
It really is.
Yeah.
Get ready to see Frozen in a whole new light. I mean, let it go. Obviously, it's iconic, but the story behind it, how it all came together, that's just as interesting. We're going to dig into those early drafts, the ideas they scrapped, and how everyone working together really made this movie the giant it is.
I am so ready. And speaking of journeys, Frozen started way back in 2008.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Over 15 years in development.
It really shows you how much they wanted to get the story right. In the beginning, they were trying to adapt Hans Christian Andersen's The Snow Queen.
Right.
But we all know Frozen went in a totally different direction.
Yeah, it's more like they took the idea of the Snow Queen and built something totally new, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you even make the Snow Queen character work for today's audiences? It's like, remember when Disney changed Pinocchio so he didn't, squash that cricket at the beginning?
Right.
Same idea. They took some creative liberties to make something unique, and it totally paid off.
You know what I find so fascinating? It's that one question that changed everything. What if they were sisters?
I know, right?
Oh.
That one little question tossed around during a meeting, it completely transformed the movie.
Elsa went from straight-up villain to something way more complex.
It's crazy that nobody remembers who first suggested making them sisters. It's like this legend within the Frozen team.
It just goes to show you, a small idea can have a huge impact, especially when people are open to working together. Which makes me even more curious about how they actually made Frozen. This script went through something like 40 drafts.
Wow.
That's dedication.
That's a lot of changes. And these weren't just like small changes either. They'd have these retreats, offsites, where all the directors, the writers, they all get in a room and pick apart every single detail of the film.
Yeah.
Imagine all that talent just analyzing your every creative decision.
I can't even imagine. It must have been nerve-wracking, but, I guess that's how you create a story that really connects with people.
I think so. They were committed to making the story tight, something that would really grab you emotionally. And it wasn't just the writers, the voice actors. They were really important too.
Oh, tell me about it. Anna and Elsa, their voices are iconic. I bet most of us can quote lines from that movie. I had no idea how much improv they did, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Think about when Kristen Bell says, "Wait, what?"
Right?
That tiny detail, she just came up with it on the spot. And it totally captures Anna, that mix of being a little naive, but also really determined.
It's those little things that make such a difference. Oh, and we can't forget about Josh Gad as Olaf.
Oh, he was brilliant. So much of what he did was improvised. He brought this warmth and goofy charm to Olaf. Honestly, can you imagine anyone else as Olaf? He really made that role his own.
Okay, let's talk visuals. That ice palace. Breathtaking.
Isn't it?
It's basically a character itself.
The detail in those visuals is incredible. Did you know they actually went to that ice hotel in Quebec City just to get the look and feel of the ice right?
Wow. That's dedication. Being surrounded by all that ice must have given them such a unique perspective for creating Elsa's palace.
Definitely. And they were obsessed with how light works with ice. They studied how it reflects and used that when they were designing the lighting for the palace.
Wow.
And it wasn't just ice hotels. They even had a reindeer, Sage, come into the studio so they could get Sven's movements just right.
That is amazing. Okay, did you ever notice how Elsa's ice palace changes color throughout the movie? It's subtle, but it adds a whole other layer to her character.
It's true. The visuals change with Elsa's emotions. So when she's at peace, the palace is mostly blue, very calm and serene.
Right.
But when her emotions start to, get stronger, you see more red, and those sharp blue spikes, they almost look dangerous, right?
Yeah. And you know what else? The only time you see yellow in the entire movie is during that fight with the Duke.
That was completely intentional. The art director wanted to add that little unexpected pop of color just to make things visually interesting.
Mind blown. There are so many hidden layers in this scene.
I know. It's part of what makes Frozen so captivating, There's always something new to see.
Okay, so we talked about how incredible Frozen looks, but what about the messages in this movie? It's not just pretty pictures, right?
Definitely not. Frozen has some pretty deep themes, especially when it comes to love. Like, we've all heard that true love's kiss thing, right?
Oh, yeah, the classic.
But Frozen takes that idea and flips it on its head.
Totally. You don't have a prince coming in to solve everything. Frozen celebrates a different kind of love. It's about the bond between sisters, that kind of love where you're willing to sacrifice to put someone else first.
Right. It's not about romance. It's about family. Remember what Grandpappy said. Only an act of true love can thaw a frozen heart.
And then, surprise, it's not a romantic gesture that breaks the spell. It's Anna choosing to save Elsa, even though it could hurt her.
Right. It totally throws you for a loop.
It really shows you that true love comes in different forms, you know? It's not always a fairy tale romance.
It's about accepting people for who they are. Like Elsa, her fear of her powers, of hurting Anna, of being alone. That's what isolates her and freezes everything.
But Anna choosing to save Elsa, even knowing she might get hurt again, that's choosing love over fear. She believes in Elsa, you know, deep down.
Exactly. Frozen says it straight up, even though it's a kid's movie. Love can thaw even the coldest heart. It's a story about accepting people, flaws and all, and seeing that everyone deserves compassion.
Even Hans. And he's supposed to be the villain, but he's not so simple, is he?
Not at all. I mean, yeah, he wants power, but his actions, they come from this place of insecurity. He just wants to be recognized, which makes him kind of relatable, even though he's the bad guy.
It's true. He reminds you that people are complicated, you know. They have their reasons for doing things.
Yeah.
But, okay, back to how amazing Frozen looks. They actually went to Norway for inspiration, right?
They did. They fell in love with the fjords, those incredible valleys carved by glaciers. You could see the influence in Arendelle, all those mountains and landscapes.
And the stave churches, those wooden churches with all the carvings, they're so beautiful. I bet they were inspired by those.
Absolutely. They used them for a lot of Arendelle's architecture, especially the castle. And they even used elements of rose mailing, you know, that traditional Norwegian folk art, in the designs. They really did their research.
It's amazing. And what about all the snowflakes?
Right. They're not just there because it's an ice movie. Each snowflake is different, you know, like people. It's a visual reminder that everyone is unique and special.
That's so cool. And the doors, they keep appearing throughout the film. That can't be a coincidence.
Nope. They represent openness, both literally and figuratively. Elsa shuts herself away in her room, closes off the castle. But Anna, she opens the door to understanding herself and Elsa better. Deep stuff.
Wow, I never would have thought of that. Every time we do one of these deep dives, I realize how much I miss just watching casually.
That's part of the magic of Frozen. There's so much to unpack. From the visuals to the characters, it really makes you think.
You know what's always gotten to me? You never see Anna and Elsa's parents after the beginning of the movie.
It's true, and it makes you think, right? That choice adds a whole other layer of sadness to their story. They've lost their parents, and it forces them to rely on each other, showing how strong their bond is. It's subtle, but it makes you think about resilience, about families sticking together even when things are tough.
It does. It really does. So before we wrap up Frozen, one last thing. The whole movie focuses on sisterhood, how it breaks those old fairy tale rules. Do you think it's changed how we see animated movies, you know, especially for girls?
Definitely. Frozen threw out the idea that princesses need rescuing.
Right.
It showed girls they can be their own heroes, that they can be strong and support each other. It made a huge impact.
It definitely did. Frozen set a new standard for female characters in animation. They're not waiting around for a prince. They're complicated, they make mistakes, but ultimately, they're the ones who save themselves.
And that's such a powerful message for everyone, not just kids. It reminds you that real strength comes from inside, from being who you are, and that connecting with people, really connecting, can change everything.
You know what's amazing? Even with all those deep ideas, Frozen still feels magical, like classic Disney magic.
It's true. It's got that perfect balance. The music, how it looks, that heartwarming story at the center of it all. It's easy to get lost in.
And we can't forget those classic Disney Easter eggs. Did you see Rapunzel and Eugene? They pop up at Elsa's coronation.
Oh, yeah. For just a second, but it's there. Like a little shout out to another princess. And there are more. Trust me. You got to watch it a few times to catch them all. Frozen is made for rewatching.
It really is. So everyone listening, next time you're about to watch Frozen, pay attention. You never know what details you'll find. The doors, the snowflakes. Arendelle is full of surprises.
Don't be afraid to really think about what you're watching. Ask questions, think about the themes, why the characters do what they do. Frozen makes you want to know more.
I think we've officially reached peak Frozen knowledge for one day. I'm going to go grab a blanket and watch it again right now. I bet I'll notice something new.
Sounds like a great plan. Enjoy. And who knows, maybe you'll have some Frozen discoveries of your own.